gaining, shifting of weight to make yourself advance, but hopefully in a safe way. So the clearer you are about the principles, the safer you can be for anything. But if you're here just to gain a new form, then perhaps you may want to rethink that. It's only temporary, okay? And probably only good when you do the actual Tai Chi Yang 16, okay? All right, so we're gonna move back, we're gonna come forward, we're gonna go from the clock, and we're in good Tai Chi posture, and we're closing a little bit, okay? Making that spine really straight. We're at 50-50. We're gonna shift our weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, hands rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. Shoulder level, drop the shoulders, flex the knees, let gravity take care of you. Left hand on the bottom, 2 inches below your navel, on a T stance, hold your ball nicely. Root it down on the right where your energy is. We're gonna move that energy by stepping out on an L stance. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, split the energy. Bow stance, part the wild horse's mane, 1. Sit back, sit down to alleviate the weight of the front foot so that you can move it out. Ball for better balance, heel out, move the energy from an L stance to a bow stance. You're in a great optimal position. You're gonna take a half step, and half step requires balance, so you're gonna have to center yourself with the ball. You're gonna shift your weight from the front foot to the back foot. Do it now. At the same time, you're gonna spin the ball. What the bottom does, the top does. You're on the toe of the front, lift it off the ground, set it on its toe, and you're set for white crane spreading his wings, where the right hand is sitting to the way out to the hips, the top left hand, the baby finger bisects the edge of your opposite shoulder, your right shoulder. You're gonna drop your front foot to provide more weight on the back. You're gonna bring the top hand in so that it's almost like a 12 o'clock, where the elbow is straight down. Then you're gonna bisect, drop it down to the danten. Lift up the front foot, look at the back, and set it up, and lift off to the ground to your heel as you turn your hips and waist to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, as if you're walking in that direction, set it up correctly, multitask to provide your magic. Brush knee 2. Sit back, sit down, as if you're gonna do another brush knee, but you're gonna fist your right hand. Then you're gonna fist that comes up, the other one comes down, yin and yang. Spin out with your heel to deflect. Bring it into parry. Step out on a bow, a L stance to punch. You're gonna strip the guy away, open that fist, roll back and sit down. Turn the palms out to spiral forward. Okay, from here now, I'm gonna take you along a little bit more, but I want you to listen carefully so you can do what I want you to do. You're in a bow stance. Forget about your hands for now, okay? You're in a bow stance. I want you to turn towards the field and give me the same bow stance, okay? Do it now. Left foot forward, right foot 45, and you were pushing out. All right? What we're going to do is something very different. We're going to slightly sit back, but pivot our back or right foot. Then pivot our front foot. Shift our weight, make a hook, and T, and come out as a single whip. Wow. Okay, so go back to your regular position. So we said that our premise is, how do we get to movements? Or we can get to movements in a better way if we employ or implement our principles. So we were here, and we want to pivot our back foot. We're in a good optimal position, safe right now. We want to alleviate some weight of our back foot so we can pivot, shift our weight, and come up and come out and do a single whip. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to come out in this way. We want to be able to pivot the back foot. Top and bottom of my body matches. Pivot on the neck, on the front foot. Shift my weight. Come out on a L stance and then a bow stance. Wow. So yes, it may look easy, but the pivoting of the heel of the foot to get into a single whip is kind of tricky. So I can't really tell you how much weight to put on that foot that pivots. Okay, maybe I'm just talking about words, using words right now. But I cannot tell you how much to alleviate to first pivot, then pivot, shift the weight, come out, and do this. So we're actually going to try it, and then we're going to kind of refine it. We're not going to put our magic to use right now. We're just going to have to creep up to it, okay? There's no magic right now. We're going to have to understand what to do. Then you have to feel how it's done, and then that feeling can be then tweaked, okay? So the principle is, let's see if I can do it. I still have to do it this way. Okay. So we're like this, actually like this. Probably what they sometimes refer to this as a 60 and a 40. I try to really teach it as a 50-50 because I don't want you to come forward, okay? So you're actually horizontal, your vertical dantian points are straight. So you're not favoring, okay? You're like this. What you want to do is you want to alleviate some of the weight here because only the weightless foot can move. But it's not really that easy because you have to pivot on the ball of your foot. The ball of your foot. Shift your weight, counterbalance, come out, and do this. Okay, one more angle, and then we're going to do it. Okay, so we're like this. We want to pivot on our back foot first, top and bottom match. Top and bottom match, that's the second pivot. Shift our weight to a T, come out, L, single whip. Okay, and the hands here are, single whip hands, but they're also counterbalancing hands, giving us stability to post down and yet not fall down, because this is helping our limbs, our hands and our arms are helping us to balance, okay? The harder part is to be able to lift off, to shift the weight to the heel to make it pivot. Okay, so we're gonna go slowly so you can kind of not watch, you're gonna watch, but you kind of figure out what your body can do and what it feels like it should do, okay? It can be a little bit awkward in the beginning, and it may stay with you as an awkward, but it's doable, okay? So we're left foot on a line, right foot on a 45 degree in the back. We push out. Optimal position. We're going to alleviate some of the weight of our back foot to put it on its heel to pivot out. At the same time we pivot, afterwards we pivot that front foot. We shift our weight, form our hook, come out, and push out. Okay, the pushing comes from the core now. It's not a hand motion. Okay, try it again. 2 hands push out. Bow stance. Alleviate the weight of the back foot to put it on its heel to turn. Turn the front. Shift the weight. L stance. Bow stance. Okay, one more time and then we'll change our position. You're in a bow stance, you're going to push out. Drop those shoulders, pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook the back hand, T stance. Across the face, out, hands and feet follow each other, bow stance. Okay, we're going to come forward now, okay? Same thing. As I was doing my thing too, just like you, I found that if my bow stance is too wide, I'm not going to be able to pivot. So you don't want to come in short and just say, oh, it's easier this way. It is easier, but you're going to be too tight in to come out to do this. So you want to do something in between. You don't want to go out this way. You want to bring it in so that it's pretty comfortable. Then you're able to pivot, shift, okay? All right. So left foot on a line, right foot on the opposite line, drop the back, right foot back on a 45 degree, push out. Okay, you won't see me, but okay, we'll do it this way anyway. Okay, alleviate the weight of the back or right foot to allow it to pivot. Pivot the front, shift the weight, hook the hand of the back, T stance. Left hand turns out, left foot turns out. Okay, try it again. Push out. Make the adjustment if it's too wide a span for you. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook the hand, T stance. Turn the hips and waist, turn the left hand out, single whip. Okay, still rough, but still getting better, okay? Again, push out on a bow stance. Sit back slightly, pivot on the back foot, pivot on the front foot, shift the weight, hook the hand, T, out across the face, L, bow stance. Okay, gonna go back this way because I think you have better vision going to the left, okay? Left foot on the line, right foot drop back slightly, span not too wide on a 45 degree. Push out. Pivot the back. Pivot the front. Hook and shift your weight. Left hand closer to the face. Left hand sweeps across the face. Left foot comes out and pushes forward. Single whip. Okay? I'm going to look at you, just peek at you. Okay, pretty good. Nice single whip. All right. Now keep your feet positions and push out. We're going to do it again. Pivot on the back. Move that hand. Pivot on the front. Move that hand. Hook. Shift weight to the left, to the right. Left foot is insubstantial. Steps out on an L and then a bow. Okay, so what's happening is that you train your body really well in 10 form. You know what a T stance is, you know what an L stance is, and you know what a bow stance is. But somewhere, something's getting lost because now you have to take into consideration your upper body. But just remember, the firmer you are with your feet positions, that's going to be great. All you have to do is tell yourself, they are not separate entities, your top and your bottom, but they're all folded together. So if you were in another or I gave you a chance to just free fly it, or what do you call it, impromptu do it, and you just have to put it together to get you're by yourselves, you will find that, yes, the body wants to do whatever the foot has been trained to do. Okay, but right now I'm giving you specifics. Okay, so maybe you can think about that when you see what I do and say, yeah, now I can see it a little bit better because it's not really interfering with what you are doing physically. So what I try to teach you is single whip in the 16, which is harder than in the 24. I said that the forward foot is the left and the right is the back on a 45 degree. I also said that you don't want to be close because you'll never be able to turn correctly and safely. But you don't want to, at the same time, take the span. So remember when you were in 10 form, I said something about whenever you take an L stance, be careful. You don't want to come too far wide, and neither do you want to come too short. So that's the same thing, the same principle. So this is how I feel is maybe like a block and a half to 2 blocks span, probably more like 2 blocks, okay? A little short of 2 blocks. What I want to do is pivot the back foot, but I know that I have to pivot on my heel, and I know that my upper body will help me with balance. I can't just do this, and I can't do this, and then do this. That's ridiculous because I have an upper body that can help me, okay? And I have to use my whole body, and my mind drives my movement. I want to alleviate some of the weight of the back foot, and I want to pivot. I want to pivot again, and I want to shift my weight on a T across my face, turn the palm out, and come out as a single whip. And this kind of motion here where I'm suspended, but not suspended like this, really helps with my centering, really helps me. It's not just for show, but physically or as a viewer, it looks pretty, yeah? But it's there for balance and for beauty. Okay, watch one more time. So I want to make sure that I'm not too far in, I'm not too far wide, okay? And this is, I can test it, okay? And I'm like this, but I want to end up like this, okay? Same feet position, same alignment there, okay? But I want to get a little fancy. I want to first think through. I want to pivot that back foot, but on my heel. So I can't unless I think it through and alleviate some of the weight, soften the weight of that back foot. So when I pivot, my hand and upper body helps me. The front foot has to do it. When I shift my weight, I form my hook. I shift my weight to a T. The left hand comes across my face. I step out, my upper and lower body match as I do a single whip. So here again, the power of the mind, the power of the turning of the hips and waist. Not so much this, which is not only not smooth, but I'm thinking about where the different hands are going to go and where the shoulders should go. But what I'm doing differently is that I'm using my hips and I'm using the famous hips and waists and shifting of weight. It's so much smoother. I feel so much better about it because it seems to flow. The hips and waists turn me to get here. Okay, so what's your goal? Your goal is to try to match and understand and use your body the way that you just saw and understood. Okay, you want to be able to get the elements in. I'm not too worried about softening it right now, but try to get the elements in. Okay? All right, left foot on the line. Okay, it's hard being very hard being a teacher and a husband and a wife. Because, and I'm not gonna put this on a level, but I think you're laughing because you know, I have this journey going down here and then somebody tugs me and pulls me here, and I sort of know what he's gonna tell me, okay? Because usually, in the end, when I finally buckle under, he has a lot to say that makes sense. And it's just like you guys. He said that we would try to incorporate a little bit more softness and use our mental mindset and our whole body to make our movements happen for us, okay? So 2 feet on 2 different lines, opposite each other. Drag the right one back and kind of just go toddle back and forth to say, am I too close or am I just right, okay? And we have our energy pushed out. We want to pivot on our back foot, and after that, pivot on our front foot. So here we go. You're gonna slightly sit back. You're gonna pivot on the heel of the back foot, pivot on the front foot, shift the weight to the back foot, form a T, form a hook, come out on an L, push out, single whip. Here we go, push out, drop those shoulders. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift, across the face, out, L, single whip. Ooh, going faster. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, across the face, use your hips, single whip. Okay, slowing it down. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, T, spin out, L, push forward. One more time, same tempo. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, T, across face, L, single whip. Keep it there. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, turn hips and waist, out, L, bow stance. One more time, push out, drop those shoulders, pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, L, single whip. Okay, you're going to do it so that I can watch now, okay? One more time to practice. Okay, you might want to shake around, get energized, re-energize. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, turn the hips and waist, L, bow stance. Oh, good one. Okay, do it for me. Push. Now, check your hand. The hand of the left hand should not go too much beyond your toes. It can come out slightly, but not extremely, because you're taking into consideration lining up your vertical danten points. If your vertical danten points are lined up and you find that maybe your vantage point of what you're seeing, the hand might be slightly ahead of your toe, that's fine, but as long as your danten points are strung up correctly. The back or hooked hand, okay, so you're going to drop the front hand, you're going to keep your hand like this, and all you're going to do is come down. Okay, and round out the fingers so that the thumb is surrounding the 4 fingers, but not tight like that, but drop and close. So where should it be? It shouldn't be in the front where you can see it. It shouldn't be on the side where you can see it. It shouldn't be directly across you, but slightly a little bit more. Okay? And it's not extended like that, and this is locking my chi or internal energy in, but the dropping of the elbow to make it soft. So give me single whip. Okay, so give me, straighten up, and give me soft single whip. Usually the backhand is slightly higher, than the forward hand. Usually the back hand is slightly higher than the forward hand. Okay? All right, good. That requires some practice, okay? But the practice is good because you're teaching your body that you're using everything about it and still being safe. You're swiveling on your axle by turning your hips and waist, being in a favorable or optimal position because you're in a T and the energy is stored here. You're taking an L and you're turning your hips and waist across the face and mimicking what the bottom does with the top. Okay? So without many words or any words, this is what you were taught in 3 angles or 4 angles. Ready to try 4 angles with me, okay? Let's start with this one. Push out. Pivot the back, pivot the front, turn the hips and waist, shift the weight, across the hips and waist on a T, elbow. Okay, coming forward. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook. T-stance, across the face, turn the hips and waist out, single whip. Going towards the clock wall. Right foot drag back on a 45, push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift weight T, out, turn the hips and waist, L stance, bow stance, okay? Going towards the road. Right foot on a 45, push out, pivot, pivot, shift, hook, T, across, and single whip. Now drop your hands and look at your feet. And then you determine what's going on there, okay? All right, so turn around and look at me. In a bow stance, it's like this. The front foot is parallel or on the tile of the floor. The back foot, which is in this case the right foot, should be on a 45 degree, okay? As to the extent of the 45, it depends, because we're in motion all the time. We can say, drill it really hard and say, yes, this is a 45, this is a 45. You can put tape on it, you can put chalk and everything on it. But we don't have to be that rigid because we're in motion and the body weight, as long as the Danten points are lined up, you're fine. So I asked you to look at your own feet for self-correction. If you were in class prior to, as an intro class, you know that I was a stickler in saying T stance, L stance, drag it back, make that gap, okay? And why? Just as a reminder, if we did not provide room but span, and we would clash or come too close to the heel of our planted foot, okay? I'll bring it in just so that it will clash. Oh, here, I'll just do it on that cross section and I'll come out. And this is, I say this is my L, which you know is wrong. So when I come out and I want to do a single whip, it's hard for me to turn and my knees already feel stressed. It's not this knee, it's this guy too. So how do we rectify it is that we have to be strict with ourselves and say, T, out and to the side. Out and to the side means here, so that I can swivel clearly here. Okay, just as a reminder. And we always need reminders, okay? So the best thing is for you to take this piece home and work on it and then say, stop, check my feet. Okay, you be the detective, you be the investigator, and you teach yourself, because you already have taken in visually and mentally what is proper. Then you teach your body how to do that. You'll be happier when you have a better alignment. Okay, so we're going to wind it up with a yang 16, okay, and then with Ken. But I do want you to remember that although I have been drilling very hard for a long amount of time on single whip and how you get into it, it is using the elements of all of what we've been talking about. Okay, so we're going to get into a single whip position and move forward to learn the movements that come after it. Okay, so we're in a single whip. 2 feet on 2 different lines, grab the right foot back, 45 degrees, go to a wide stand, comfortable stand. We're going to half step forward, and we're going to sit back on the back foot, drop the front foot, and you're going to set it on its heel to create a loop. The loop now, the left hand is higher, the right hand dips towards your crux of your left elbow. You're set up now to be flexible. You're going to center the front hand, and you're going to glance at the back hand. And you're going to multitask when you say, you're going to take a touchy walk backwards. You're going to start with your toe. So the front foot has a toe. You're going to multitask. The top hand to your heel. And you're going to swivel by lifting off the front foot, then toe, then heel, meet in the middle, as a zigzag, pivot on the ball of your foot, come down. We're looking at principle. So now we're setting it up correctly. We're lifting and leading with the toe, and we're going to try to put our positioning towards the front by swiveling on the left toe and sitting back on the left foot. At this point now, you can stay where you are. We're going to do something fancy. Weight is on the mat. The front foot is going to pivot. Can you pivot with me? And then you're going to be on the toe of your back foot, and that allows your right hand to come upwards. You're going to not see me, but you're going to spin out to the right with the heel of your right foot to hold your ball. Yeah. So I'm looking at you, and you didn't even know me, see me, but you're in a good position. All right. Now you're going to take your left heel and set it out, spin your ball, and put your left hand to the foot. Turn the hips away and push out. Okay, so we need to fix that up because you're a blind person, not just listening, okay, and not knowing. Okay, come back to your original position. So very good from what I can see. So now we've gotten verbal instructions that you can understand. So we're in single half step, swirl, drop the front on its toes, set it on its heel, create a loop. Drop the front foot, center the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. We're setting ourselves correctly to pulse the monkey. We're going to multitask. We're going to first set the front foot to our toe, and then multitask. Here, lift off, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of the front foot and meet in the center, and pull back and sit back. One more time. Center the right hand, glance at the back hand, on the toe, lift up, ear, toe, heel, swivel on the ankle, meet in the center. Then we're going to pivot the front foot on its heel. And then we're going to feet on the toe of our back or right foot. So we're in this inside out ball position of our upper body, where the left hand is 2 inches below the navel, and the right hand is catching the ball from the sleeve. We want to correct this position and kick out with our right heel, the insubstantial. When we do that, we can hold our ball correctly. Here we go. Spin out with your right heel, reposition your hands. Shift your weight to the right or front foot. Bring out your left heel, turn the ball. Put the left hand to your forehead. Push as Maiden shuttles on your left. Okay, Maiden on the left. Okay, Maiden on the left. Okay, I'm going to turn you this way now. Maiden on the left. This is how we are, right? Maiden on the left. Let's look at Maiden. The Maiden is working on a reading move, and she has the shuttlecock, and she's placing it in the way, position that she needs it. So the left hand, palms are outward, closer to the forehead. The right hand, where she has her shuttlecock, palm is face outwards, and it's beyond the forehead. Okay? So she has to put her shuttlecock on the other side now. She's going to sit back. She's going to twist to the inside, and she's going to hold the ball. Okay? She's going to do lots of things. She's going to spin the ball, and she's going to turn its ways and place her left hand to where her shuttlecock is. Okay, don't worry, as long as you're listening and trying to make your body do what you see and hear, it's fine. Now we're going to take a half step to the back. How are we going to do that? Use our right foot? No, it's logical to use our back or left foot. So we're going to put our back foot, our left foot to the back, and we're going to turn towards the wall, and we're going to put our left hand like this. And the right hand is going to cross our hips and waist. Okay, and we're going to step out, and we're going to go down to the bottom of the seat. Find that heel, right? One left hand comes up, the right hand comes up, then our foot, and we're touching the hands, and we're going to, the weight is on the back, so we lift that up, put it here, and we're going to flash our arms up down. So here again, we're learning about shifting weight, and only the weight is what can move. But we know it's safe because the other foot keeps us grounded. Okay? So maybe what I should do now is do it to maybe refresh my mind. So your job now is to watch, for errors, that's part of learning, but also to see where you can use your body in a way that you can help you. I'm going to actually face you this time. So this is round 16. Best I can. Commencing forward. Shifting my weight. Thinking through my posture. Breathing out. Shifting my weight. Holding my ball for better balance. Stepping out. Spreading my energy, what the horse is doing, centering myself. Do it 2 times, I sit down. Insubstantial. Ball to better balance. Bell stance. Full stance. I take a half step, I hold my ball. I spin my ball, allowing my weight to go to my back foot, watching that advancing hand. Set it on its toe as I right clean. I tuck my elbow in, I bisect my body, helping me with my centering. I swirl back, I look back, I multitask. Here and here. Turn my hips and waist, hard the hips and waist to trigger my motion. I sit back, out. This is a way of centering. I multitask to brush my knee. After 2 brush knees, I do something else that looks like I will do a brush knee. But I fist my hand, I push down, pull up, and I deflect. I parry, and then I punch. Touch, lips open, roll down, then shift my weight to one forward. To get into single grip, I have to do something that's kind of difficult. I have to pivot my right back foot, pivot my front foot, hook my hand, bring it to a T, set it out, and this is single grip. I do something fancier. I half step it, I swirl, I rock, and I put my weight on the back. Setting it up correctly, now safely repulse the monkey. I glance, I center his hand for better balance, I multitask, I swivel on the axle, and I push my monkey away. But I can do it 2 times. I lead with my toe, my back foot is screwing me down, allowing me to swivel on my axle, and shift my weight. I now do something fancy where I pivot, I pirouette, and you notice that the hand is not being the leader, but it is being, the motions are being generated by what the hips and what the bottom portion of my body is doing, and it's only enhancing the movement. Maiden puts her shuttlecock there. She has to do with everything. I need balance, so I center myself, I come out, and I use my hips and knees to place that shuttlecock back there. A half step, and I go down to bottom of the seat. All the time in pretty good balance, and I'm going to then flash my arms over. This is what I forgot to do in the last demo or teaching. We can now be clouds. And you can see that the motions and the way the movements are set up, using my hips and waist. My hands don't need my motion. If my hips and waist don't move, my hands can't move. Center myself, ward him off. Ward off. Push him away. Have that power, have that energy in your mind. Stop and turn your hips and waist and drag the opponent down as if he lost the ribs straight out. Power that out. Separate it out. Sit back. Come up. And then move forward. What we do on one side and symmetrically, do it on the other side. Shift the weight. Stabilize in motion. Turn our hips and weights. Reposition our hands. See how stable our feet are? And then if we are able to move the upper through the hips and weights. Sitting down and up and forward. To close our form, we sit back. And there's a pattern. You always sit back to advance or move into a transition. Move into a shifting of the weight, or move the tighter closer to get that power to push out. Separate the hands. How my hands going to come back to my thighs. Watch how they do that. It's not the hands moving, the hands go to the right. How? I drop my shoulders. I flex my knees. I think through my process. I shift my weight. So I have a weightless foot to then bring it back down, all the way back. Okay, so when I do it, I guess we can, but we have to say, what we do now is trying to tell our body, or teach our body, that it can do a lot of things that we don't normally do. And that is the beginning of how we can condition our body and learn more about our body in a discipline such as Tai Chi. And take off on it and apply it to everything that we do because we've been so trained. What I wanted to do is go over how Maiden works her shuttle. How does Maiden work her shuttle? Why do I pick that? Do I always want people to learn how to use a movement? No, but that movement in itself helps us to understand how we can swivel, how we can shift our weight, how we can center, how we can turn our ball or spin our ball at the same time. We make our hands and safely use our hips and knees. Just the way I taught you last week on how to get into single whip. This is a similar kind of thing. Maiden works your shuttle, bundles up all the principles that you need to learn what we're facing. Okay? Everybody understand where I'm coming from, right? Maiden works your shuttle applies to round 16 and 24. There is an overlap. We are teaching to the principle or the elements of foundations of Tai Chi. So when Maiden works her shuttle, she holds her ball to center, ground down, and she puts her foot out. She is grounded on one foot, and she's centering, and the bottom matches the top. The bottom matches the top. Does the bottom match the top? Something going on at the top, something going on at the bottom. The bottom hand in Tai Chi always is an advancing hand, no matter what. It advances up, it advances forward, it can go down also, and that's called advancing. It's a downward motion. So I'm posted, I'm grounded, I'm centered, I come out, I roll my ball, and then I turn on my axle and I put that shuttlecock in me. I'm in sort of like a bow stance. I sit back. I sit back, I take an instep, and I hold my ball and I shuttle the other way. I take this top and bottom, I spin my ball, my power of my hips and waist make my hand go there. I do not move my hand. So how do I do that? My hips are this way. I want to turn my hips this way. But because everything on the top, everything is connected, just like you, if I turn my hips and waist, the shuttlecock gets put there. It seems like a bit of magic. But if I did not have hips and waist that were totally soft and flexible, maybe I would have trouble and I would place my shuttlecock and then struggle to turn my hips and waist. Right? Then that looks a little awkward. But Tai Chi is a big masterpiece, and everything falls in a unified way. When Maiden works a shuttle, and you're going to come forward because it doesn't even matter at what angle. We're posted on this. You see, this is a zigzag. We're posted on our left foot. Okay, make your left foot zigzag and post down. When you find it posted down, you feel, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to share the weight with my back foot, which in Tai Chi, only the weightless foot can move. So we have to somehow do something with our upper body to stabilize us. So we're going to put our right hand 2 inches below our knee ball, and we're going to put our left hand as if we're holding a ball on the top, right up this way. So we lay it down, we say, we know that this right foot now can move because there's no weight. But we're helping ourselves by centering, by putting everything into our strongest point in our body, which is our core. When Maiden works her shuttle, she's going to step out. What is she going to do? She's going to step out on the heel. But we know that in Tai Chi, the bottom has to match the top and vice versa. So we also know that the bottom hand advances. The bottom hand in this case is the right hand. So as we step out, the hand moves because the body moves, because the how we're going to step up the knee. On our heel, bottom hand advance. It's no longer where we set it up. We can turn or spin our ball, put the right hand to our forehead. As we do that, we're going to multitask to turn our hips and waist to put that shuttlecock there. Okay, fine. Left foot, holding our weight, holding our ball, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go in that place. We're going to multitask. Heel and hand, spin the ball. As it gets to our forehead, turn the hips and waist, place your shuttlecock. And you notice that my right top hand, the palm faces out. We're going to sit back. We're going to pivot the latest foot in. And shift the weight again. We're going to center ourselves with the balance. The maiden is to put her shuttlecock on the left hand side of the room. How is she going to do that? The same way. She's going to step out on her heel. How? Step out on her heel. But she's also going to advance her body. She's going to spin that ball. The hips and waist are in play only at this point. Okay. This is the drill. Sit back, sit down. Slightly pivot, hold the ball. Maiden's going to start with the shuttle movement. Heel and hand, spin the ball, place the shuttlecock, and move. She has to sit back to alleviate the weight of the front foot. She has to spin in and pivot towards the center of the body. She's rounded down on her right. She has to hold the ball. The weightless foot is left, the bottom hand is left. Therefore, we're good optimal position. We step out. Hand goes out, spins it to the forehead, turn our hips and waist, and she puts her shuttlecock right there. Lower than her left hand, but right and eye level in the right hand position. We need to move. How can we move with 2 feet? We have to alleviate the weight by sitting back, flexing the back knee to hold our weight. We can now pivot in with our left foot. We can center with our ball on the T-steps. What do we do? You tell me. Do it and tell me. What do? We need to move. We have 2 feet, so we move 2 feet? No, I got it. Sit back. Pivot in this time. Center yourself because you're rooting down on your right. Centered with the safety net of the ball. The left foot and the left hand are going to advance. Out. Spin. Turn hips and waist. Shuttles. What are we going to do? We have 2 weight feet. We're going to sit back and weightless that front foot. Turn in. Hold ball. Spin out. Turn hips and waist. 2 weightless feet. 2 weighted feet. Sit back on the weight line. Turn in on a pivot. Center and be safe on the ball. Hand and feet together. Step out. Spin. Push and turn. Sit back. Shift your weight. Pivot in. Root down. Ball. Out. Max bottom and top. Spin. Turn hips and waist. And circle the ball. So you're saying, wow, I can follow if I hear her, if I can see her. But more now drilling for Maiden. Not necessarily because it's a hard motion in yang-style Tai Chi, but it's allowing us to understand and make our body work in a way that keeps us stable. And perhaps when we're in a compromising position, our body will learn that we need to shift our weight. We need to move only the weightless. We need to turn our hips and waists because they are the foremost important part of the core of our system. And don't forget, the mind needs to be active. So I think that just by talking and you following me just by doing, that we are what? Understanding, but we're in a discipline that perhaps will help us understand our body and what we can do. But it's also giving us perhaps strength, understanding, some stamina. Now, am I right? Actually, wrong side. I'm going to move the body sleeves, okay? Okay, the Maiden works her shuttle. She's sitting and zenning. And yet, at the same time, when we do the next movement, and perhaps we'll do the next week's lesson, this is the other way. See, so she zigs that way, right, and then she zigs it to that. But the thing about it is that we want to go straight ahead. So needle to the bottom, see that, oh, this is the 24, takes us forward. And then we flash arms like